I wanted to take a moment today to walk through a rent versus own analysis as I'm walking through some examples like this pretty consistently now with buyers who have re-entered the arena of wanting to buy a place in the new year and wanted to show them really because there is certainly still a payment shock when you look at prices, interest rates compared to maybe what they're paying in rent. But once we really break down the numbers, and we look at what the tax benefits are of owning a home, as well as how much principal is paid down with every single monthly payment. I like to call that forced savings because it's almost like you're renting for a certain amount, and then you are saving X amount of dollars per month. And then you just get that savings when you sell the home, and or because you're paying down the loan each month with that money. So let me share my screen here, and I'll give you an idea of some numbers I ran through recently with someone. Their rent payment is $2,300, and they're looking to buy their first place, $400,000 place with about a 3% down payment. Interest rates currently around 6.5%. So when we take into account estimated taxes, insurance, and HOA dues, they have about a $700 payment increase. So that certainly can fall into the category of payment shock for a lot of people. But in this market right now, there are some benefits because there are less buyers than there were last year, that you can negotiate a seller credit to do what's called a 2-1 buy down. So in that case, for the first year, you can actually, by negotiating that seller credit, can get an interest rate not of 6.5, but a 4.5. And then you end up having a payment that's about $500 less per month. But even if you couldn't do that, even if you had to go with that $3,000 payment, here's some of the numbers that sometimes a first-time buyer does not consider upfront when they're making this decision. So assuming they're in a 25% tax bracket, they're going to pick up about $500 of tax benefits every month. That means they can adjust their withholdings and then take home $500 extra per month, take out less taxes from each paycheck, and then not get a big refund at the end of the year. On top of that, they're on this exact loan, they're paying down the loan about $350 per month. So that's that forced savings. So once you take those two into consideration, they really have a net payment of about $2,200. So right in line with what their current rent payment is. And when you then look at that, combine that with the fact that you can do something like a 2-1 buy down because of the market that we're in right now. Sellers are willing to negotiate that, and you can have a lower interest rate and lower payment for the first 2 years. And then we fast forward 5 years, and everybody always talks about the benefits of home ownership, but let's look at this in some detail. Everything looks great over 30 years. How about in just a short time period like 5 years? So in the 5-year mark, we have, assuming their rent goes up 4% a year, this buyer is going to write checks for $150,000 of rent and have nothing to show for it. Where if they're paying on a mortgage, they're going to pay down the loan about $30,000 over that time period. If we look at their net worth over 5 years, and again, we assume a historical average for Colorado, 4% per year appreciation, and they're paying down the loan. Now they're going to have a home that's worth about $100,000 more than what they paid for it. And they will have paid down the loan. So they're going to have $130,000 net worth, equity in the property, which they can then sell and pocket that money. If you are curious about what it would be like to buy a place, what it would look like financially, please reach out. We'd love to put together a rent versus own analysis for you and see, what's out there and what makes sense. All right. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great rest of your